Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news. This is Bloomberg Businessweek with Carol Massar and Tim Stenovec on Bloomberg Radio.
At Apple's big event last week, a lot of the focus was, of course, around the iPhone. It makes sense. It's the most important product for Apple. What got my attention, and this is what I talked to my wife about, like the next day, the new translation function on the AirPods.
It's so cool.
So it automatically translates words that are spoken to the wearer, and then the user can then speak back and show the translation live on an iPhone to another person. We live in the future, Carol.
I mean, it's really amazing. It's like, okay, so if you don't have a language, sometimes you feel lost in a country, but this really kind of makes it very easy to communicate with other folks.
So it raises the question about how we're going to use language in the future. And in fact, on that day, we saw Duolingo shares. They were up as much as 6%. Then Apple showed off the new feature. The stock fell. So someone I'm sure who watches this closely, Tim Allen, he's CEO of Babbel, the language learning platform. He joins us from Berlin. Tim, good to have you with us. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, congratulations on the new gig. I'm curious how you watch the tech in the space. And I know you have some really interesting stuff that you and the team are doing around AI. But how do you watch the tech coming from Apple or Alphabet that are now offering this real-time translation? Does it make it so we're not going to need to learn languages in the future?
You know, language learning is the oldest software known to man, so it's not going anywhere. What I love about what Apple and Google have done is it actually generates more interest in this space. So what we find interesting, especially on our product Babbel, is when users or learners go to take a trip or go into a foreign country, they actually come back and they're more interested in learning the language. So we see all of this as a tailwind because we think that ultimately, I think the technology is really cool as well, right? It's so interesting. Put in AirPods, you can go from one to the other. But what people will then do is adopt and go, oh, I really want to get into the language. I really want to belong in the language.
That's happening right now because
volume.
So Tim, I get that that's happening right now because that technology isn't widespread, but I can just imagine in a few years, we won't even need another device. We'll have it it'll be a wearable, and then it'll be even more seamless. Do you see that continuing to drive demand?
So what's interesting about that is I think short of a neural implant, people are going to always be learning languages, right? So that and a universal language, those are the two things that could disrupt the market. So what will end up happening is that the iPhone, when it came out, everyone declared the death of language learning, right? Because you could hold up your phone, you could do the same translation that the AirPods are offering today. Even a wearable can do it. The difference is that people actually want to live and breathe inside of the language. In fact, we just launched a part of our new technology that explores AI that brings both the pedagogy and the human learning aspect of it together with AI called Babbel Speak. And what that does, it allows people to actually practice the language they're learning with an AI coach, an AI tutor. So there's predefined conversations you can practice with. It does small corrections. But we see this as a complement. We see this as a way for people to actually learn and accelerate the transmission of the language. I think the new technologies are really going to allow for dabbling inside of a language. It's going to be great on the go. It's going to be great for those one-time use cases. But people will always want to learn and live inside of a language themselves.
How do you view, though, more generally, Tim, kind of the landscape of learning apps with the introduction of GPT-5? We saw the team create a custom language learning app in minutes during the demo.
That's cool.
I mean, it's kind of amazing how quickly all this is happening and how quickly you can do things. Do you view AI products like this as a real competitive threat? And what can you do to keep your user base and sustain growth?
Yeah, I watched the same demonstration. It was a cool French app that they had created. It has limitations.
Was it cool,
right?
or were you like, oh my God, this is going to be difficult for us?
What was cool? No, definitely not an oh my God. It was a cool, because it was created so quickly. And what I think is so cool about it is people are starting to learn on demand. What the difference is, though, is I think that people will want pedagogy, they'll want lessons, they'll want content, they'll want to be able to actually know that they're getting a trusted guide through the language learning process. Large language models, as you know, are good at many things. They're good everywhere. They've been declaring for now almost 2 years that they're going to take away all of the jobs and, just really disrupt all the markets. But I think what ends up happening is when you start to get into really narrow spaces, such as language learning, people want to know that they have a real lesson plan, that they have really the transmission of the language in a way that's going to adapt to them. And that's what we think AI is going to empower inside of Babbel. We think it's really going to allow for the personalization of your individual learning plan, but with the content, the pedagogy, the transmission, so you retain, you're able to speak it, you feel fluent, and you actually feel comfortable with it. So I think from a build perspective, it's really interesting. We look at it as a tool to really help facilitate and go to market a lot faster.
Okay.
I think from a transmission and a trusted content, it'll actually end up being niche markets with real players such as ourselves.
All right. So the truth will probably be in usage or the stickiness. And I'm assuming then you're signing up more and more people. You're very enthusiastic amid all of this potential competition. So give us an idea of customers, usership, people sticking to the platform. Give us some metrics.
We're growing. We're going on. We have large demand. In fact, September is one of our larger months, just given the back to school and back to office after the summertime. That and New Year's, as you can tell, the New Year's resolutions tend to be really heavy periods for us. What I can say is we have millions of subscribing customers. We're signing up thousands every single day. Demand has not waned on this side of the equation. We're really excited about the future. I actually get more excited about more of the players showing interest and actually saying, hey, look, this is cool. Understand a language, play with a language. But when you want to go really learn a language, go to the providers you trust, such as Babbel.
Tim, you say millions. It would be great if you could. 1 million is a lot different than 10 million or 20 million. So just give us an idea, if you could. And how much is corporate versus kind of individual? And what are folks paying for a subscription? And how long do they stay with you?
Yeah, no problem. We have over 2,000 business clients, B2B clients. So I can tell you that we just signed Inter Miami Football Club. They're using it for their players, their coaches, their teams in order to teach them the languages and what they need to be. We've created custom content for them as well, which gets really exciting. What I can tell you is millions of consumer customers. And I can tell you it's more than 1 million and it's more than 2 million and it's more than 3 million. So it goes on up from there. Yeah. So.
And what do people pay? Corporate versus individuals. Yeah.
Yeah, so on individuals, there's a variety of packages, as you can imagine. There's a variety of price points. We have a lifetime price point that users can subscribe for life, and they get all of the features and all of the things that we actually upsell to. And then, there's monthly plans. It is the normal subscription model for what users want from any moment in time.
All right, but give me an idea. So Tim wants to learn what language?
Spanish. Practice my Spanish. Get it better.
He just wants to kind of learn Spanish. So give us an idea. So he signs up, and what would he be paying like on a monthly basis? Or if you wanted the lifetime?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if, Tim, you came to the site and signed up and downloaded the app, you could pay $199 for the lifetime. And then there's also discounts available, as all good subscription sites have. But then there's the monthly fee of $29.99 that you could be paying as well.
So I could do $199 for life?
Yeah.
That's a lot less expensive than competitors such as Duolingo, which is, that plus some, I think, per year.
Wait, no catch? Come on. No catch? So Tim signs up. I mean, and that's provided you stick around. No, I'm not trying to say, but right? Like you got to be around, right?
Yeah, look, with any language learning, there has to be a real commitment to it, and you have to actually practice and utilize it, right? But we see life happens, right? The families, I have kids. I'm learning German right now, right? I've moved to Berlin for the job. I knew very little German altogether. But what I could tell you is I have life come up. The kids have school. The kids have activities. I will pick up. I will put down. I will pick up and put down. But the $199 is at life.
Okay. Interesting. I'm curious about Duolingo and the competition that you see there. I'm wondering if you've considered moving outside of languages. We use Duolingo at home, but more so for chess and reading with our kids. I don't know if it works, but
it's great.
The 6-year-old has fun.
Yeah.
Than we do for Spanish right now.
Yeah, you hit the core market there, which is the games are great and they're great learning transmission, especially for the younger audiences. Right now, our specialty is language learning. We really focus on that. We focus on the transmission of language learning. We want to make sure that you have the most effective means in order to go from a 0 to 1 conversation. And the way we look at that is you feel confident walking into a room and being able to know that you're speaking the language in which you're looking to speak. So we focus all of our linguistics, all of our teachers, all of the human-centric pieces, and then we actually use AI as the tool to facilitate that in order to help make that happen faster. So Babbel Speak is a good example of that, where we continue to allow you to practice speaking, continue to allow you the conversations, but we're hyper-focused there. We really think that the games we're going to leave to other people. We're focused on the languages.
You are. Okay, so that's a no? Like moving outside of languages? Okay.
Yeah, languages are a sweet spot.
Hey, when it comes to the AI spend, it's something we talk about a lot, right? I'm curious about what you guys are spending. What are you spending it on? Is it on engineering talent? Is it data centers? Is it content? Is it something else?
Yeah, we've been cash flow positive since 2011. It's a private company, so we're not out there raising capital. We are well funded. We're doing very well. Where we reinvest on our CapEx is we look for engineers. We're looking on AI talent. We're looking at the infrastructure. We're investing in what's going to actually transmit and actually forward the future. We actually think that this is an exciting time to be really looking at product features with our proprietary data set and our proprietary moats that we have inside of our ecosystem. You know, we have hundreds of millions of lessons completed a year. That's very rich data to be taking into proprietary LLMs and data models and really working inside of the AI to work towards the most effective product in terms of transmitting the language.
Are you at this point able to use AI to create language courses? Are you able to use AI to do what humans used to do in recent years?
We actually marry the two. You know, where the real sweet spot is not in removing people from creating the languages, it's in facilitating the people to create the languages. So we do, just to answer your question directly, we do use AI, but we use it with the human-centric piece. We've always found that our linguists and also our teachers are the best to formulate all of the content so it can transmit better than anyone else and more effective. And so what we find is we marry the human with the AI tools. So we're using the blend of both worlds. We haven't replaced jobs in order just to replace jobs.
All right, I've got one really, really important last question for you, Tim. How's the German going?
Sure.
How's the German going?
You know, ein bisschen sprechen die Deutsch. So I've been using my Babbel every day. Very little, but I'm learning very slowly. So
okay, maybe next time he's on, we do the interview in German. We get Matt Miller in here.
Yeah, I'm on. I'm game.
Matt would definitely do that really, really well. All right, Tim, thanks so much. Fun to talk with you and get some time and hear what you guys are doing, especially when it comes to AI to incorporate and get in. Tim Allen, Chief Executive Officer of Babbel, joining us from Berlin, Germany.